things because I didn't do my mayor's report until yesterday.
Oh.
Okay.
I have tickets for the Monastery Lotto. If people still want to buy them.
Oh,
We are,
should put that in business, get it on.
Get on C.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah,
Let me know when you're ready there, Annette.
yeah, we're live.
Perfect. Well, and welcome everyone to the Corporation Township Bonch Valley Committee meeting agenda. Today's Tuesday, October 10th, 2023 at 1:30 p.m. We're meeting in the council chambers, municipal building, and everyone is present. Hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving as well. Is there any additions to the agenda, Mayor Murphy?
yeah, I'd like to add a closed for an identifiable individual, please. And I apologize, I took my mayor's report off because I didn't think I would get it done over Thanksgiving weekend, but I did. And I don't want to do another 7-page mayor's report, so I did a short one for today. Thank you.
Merv, do you have anything? Tracy? Done?
No.
Okay, perfect. So could it please have a mover or second for the confirmation agenda? Merv, John, all those in favor? Perfect, thank you very much. Is there any community interest or the general nature thereof? Seeing none. Was there any errors or omissions with the previous minutes of September 19th, 2023? Seeing none, could I please have a confirmation of those minutes, please? Mayor Murphy. Perfect. Tracy, all those in favor? Awesome. And we do not have any delegations today, and we do have our honorable Daryl Birch with us today. You have a good Thanksgiving?
Oh, yes.
Looks like you've been busy, Daryl.
Yeah, it does. It does. Another month, maybe.
Never a dull moment in the world of water and sewer, Daryl.
No.
Very important area.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
so,
learned.
yeah, we had a fair disaster there. Early in the month of September, when we had an 8-inch water main break. So. We didn't have any idea what it was. So we really lucky we could get it fixed in the time we did, just because of parts. But I found enough parts that we could put it back together, so.
Good job.
So, it's just another thought that, you know, next time that road's done, may have to look into redoing that piece of pipe.
Okay.
Because it was rotted right out in the bottom. For some reason. And it had been repaired before, and I don't know when, because I mean, like, I've been here 40-some years and I never really worked up there. So it was,
So what is it, a 12-inch concrete?
no, it was an 8-inch.
8-inch, okay.
Yeah.
It was right on Bon Shore West.
Yep.
Yep, I remember that day.
Okay, so do we know in our asset management plan when that road is scheduled?
Oh.
Up for a while, probably.
No,
No,
it'd
'cause
be 10 or
it-
15 years.
I was gonna
Because
say
it-
that was
it-
just redone,
Exactly.
both sides.
I would think it'd be probably 15 years yet.
Okay,
But I mean, that's only the second break we've had up there in the last 20 years.
But that's not the old, is that the old, that's not the oldest section of pipe? Is it? The downtown core, is that not the oldest or?
Yeah,
John
but
Street?
they'd be only like about a year apart.
Oh, okay,
Okay.
but John Street, the old cast is there, that's original.
But John Street actually would be even newer than Boncher Street.
Oh, just different.
Maybe a couple of years.
Oh, okay.
just different material.
Yes, different.
Weird. Okay. But definitely something to keep in our minds if something goes sideways on
Yep.
at Wellington and Bruce.
That's right.
Yeah, okay.
If road repairs are made, is that covered by the province because of the highway designation?
Hey,
Of
no.
course not.
Nice try.
But I love the conviction when you ask that question. So although it is the connecting link, the connecting link program kind of comes and goes. And it's generally a really substantial project that they would do. But yeah, there is opportunity, but because it's also onto Wellington, that's where it could get a little dicey. Yeah. But it's so hard, John. The province needs to pick a lane. Is it our road or is it their road? Because we've had this conversation over and over the years about putting signage up, putting up a concave mirror at FEMO, road repair. It goes on and on, so, yeah.
And we had our flow meters calibrated. I just got the reports today, but I never got a chance to read it. We had our audit done last week. We have not received the report, but in our closing meeting, he was quite happy with everything that was done and said we will be getting our certification again, so. Yep. And works department fixed some manholes for us and Harrington's down at the sewage plant right now. They put in some couple pieces of sludge line now. We have dug up the yard and two valves there are broken, so we're gonna try and get those replaced before frost. And we took out 2 geotubes.
So then what do we do to replace those? Do we have to buy new like, do we have to buy the new
Geotubes?
infrastructure? Yes,
Yeah, we buy new bags. yes.
buy new bags, okay.
You can't
I
empty
just-
the
I
bag
couldn't-
and fill them.
I couldn't remember because at one time I thought that they were emptying them, but then that didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
They cut them open,
We have to
right?
cut them.
Yeah, okay. Sorry,
Which
it's
is
been
really too
years.
bad because I'm sure they'd last for 10 years at least.
And I
Lasts longer than the grate, like the covered roof down
Well,
there.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And can I just say, the manholes, this are so much better.
Oh, I know.
We're like, it used to be sort of an obstacle course on 41, like nope, don't want to hit that one, nope, don't want to hit that one.
And it's the traffic that makes them so hard to fix.
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
And nobody has any patience and it's really tough.
But they are really amazing.
They do well.
Yeah.
For sure. So, that's it.
Thank you.
Any questions for Daryl?
No, I'd just like to comment that I think that of all the department heads, Daryl brings the most complete and acceptable reports.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Which is.
You know, he's gonna say that to all the
Like-
department heads.
Like Tracy, I have a particular fondness for sewage.
Okay, don't put me quite in that.
Hey, Daryl. Before you get a plunger from John, have a good day.
Ask for a raise.
And then Jason Zor won't be with us today, but if anyone has any questions, you can direct them at Annette. So does anyone have any questions with Jason's report?
My only comment was about the EV charging, and it's not an emergency because we don't even know if we're getting this grant, this shared grant with the other partners. But when I was reviewing his report and the options, I love the idea of the municipal office because we are going to have extra parking when the paramedic service leaves us. However, I don't think it's the best for our tourist population. Also, I think that the idea of having it on the west side of the tourist booth was a lovely idea, but I think that the infrastructure needed there will be far too expensive. So my preferred option would be 2 spots in the tourist booth, but again, we could probably table this until Jason's back. I had notes made, so I didn't want to forget what my thoughts were.
His presentation is well documented and pictured. So
Yeah,
it's easy to understand. So I agree, we can leave that for another time.
but this would be ideal.
Yeah.
It really would. I just think.
Well, I wasn't thinking if you did place it, I think that either way, I think at the tourist, but it makes sense because it incentivizes people when they're waiting, they're 15 and 30 minutes charge, they can at least go to the downtown core.
Exactly, to the park.
The second alternative, you did place it here, you'd have to have it at the front. Anyways, that actually increase vote, but it really comes down to the grant as well, because we're one of the administrators of it, so we have to check on the quality of the cars as well, right? So then that's how I saw it from this angle too, is like, if
Right.
this is the main charging spot, if not, we'd have to have someone go down to the tourist booth, check it after a drive, or whatever the policy or the direction is afterwards. So
Yeah,
that's the only direction I saw from the grant program.
it's not a bad point.
It's just that you have, and if you did place it here, because you don't, you have less traffic from your paramedic space, you have more back here for people who are coming to the meetings,
Mhm.
coming to see Ned, Sandra, anyone else.
So
And
you're
then you have
saying,
it on the face side here, left side where the retaining rocks are, is what I was saying.
or the two spots that are fire department only in the very front.
As an alternative, I think it just depends on what the policy intention is for the
Right.
administration of this program, if we did have board approval.
Right.
Because I'm looking at it from like the administration, like if I had something
Yeah.
I wanted to be able to put your eyes on every day, not just drive by.
Well, but we're all gonna have them, so each municipality will have to administrate their own.
Yeah, but but would it not depend because there could be two in another municipality or does one end up coming back here? My understanding, if you had 3 points of charging, that those are the 3 locations you end up being.
I think it would
Just have one
depend.
situated here. Because you might have 2 in Cobden one day and then 1 back here and 2 back here.
Right,
Depends on
depending on
people's-
who booked them.
Who books them, right? So that's all I think. So
Yeah.
it just depends on what's the simplest for whoever's overseeing, being that Jason, Kevin, whoever,
So these are going to be for those EVs,
and others.
but others.
Yeah.
And that's where you bring up a good point. But again, we don't have the grant yet, so maybe we're putting the cart before the horse.
And installation for hydro is going to be the issue right here as well. Getting into the.
get the voltage you need up
And
there.
just, yeah, so
Yeah.
it's easier at the tourist booth, but I'm not saying
Mhm.
we wouldn't move that here, but if we get the
The
funds.
tourist booth is most ideal. The only thing I would want to bring a report back, especially we know Jason's gonna
Yeah.
come back. What are alternatives to increase parking for the capacity of the commercial downtown?
Mhm.
So that's the biggest thing. That's always the biggest challenge. You have your water streets, you have your Victoria streets. So how do we encourage more people to utilize those parkings as well, or staff members of the businesses downtown?
To not
utilize
park,
it?
yeah, and we are losing the parking lot across from Rio.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
that's gonna be a fourplex of business of commercial space.
Well, we talked one time, didn't we, about having it across from Treshmark? Over the old creamery where the pumping station was.
Yeah, in the end, because that is now going to be a developed site and taking away 2 spots there, I don't think that's ideal.
But the tourist booth logistically makes sense. It just
Mhm.
depends on, like, obviously, yeah, hydro, but we're
Yeah.
gonna put in either way.
But if the installation is not any more expensive and if fire doesn't have an issue with us parking out front. There is the oil separator and stuff down there, but we could have a conversation.
I think it's worthwhile, especially with the pilot program. The thing is that doesn't mean that you can't have one here. And you can't have an additional one down the years if it
Well,
is successful.
They're two
No, they're
together,
2 together.
yeah.
No, I'm saying additional one.
Oh, later.
Oh,
yeah.
later.
On
Okay.
on a later
That's right.
date, right? Because like, we're
Yeah,
driving, we have a lot of people drive through there.
In Jason's pictorial,
Mhm.
he's got them back there.
I
Yeah.
don't- Yeah, and I
Yeah.
don't see that working, but I like.
No, because the whole
So do I.
point is to get people to stop and see it, right?
Right.
And like, we just want people to stop and then we want to develop our commercial. So then how do we incentivize? So like, when I looked at Jason Core, I said, so what can we do on our end? What lands do we have that do have some clearances? Maybe we've got to accommodate a couple of trees out of the way. But we have equipment and we can do it. So
Mhm.
what can we do?
And
Do
I-
we widen the shoulders on Water Street, put a little extra in a gravel budget? Do something? That's all. That's
But-
all I'm saying on mine.
I also think that Merv is absolutely right. When we were using the entire parking lot, that would have been the idea.
Because people go shopping while they're charging.
Right, but I mean, now you're gonna have to walk from the tourist booth, which I don't think is that big a deal.
Mhm.
The other thing that I wanted to touch on, because I know that our wonderful Debbie Christing was going to write an article about it, and Jason is not here. So there will be no name change to Harry Dick Road after receiving comments from the residents on the road. We are not moving forward with the name change. We will continue to seek alternative measures to lower the number of times that the sign goes missing. And one of the alternatives that somebody sent me was in many cities, they hang from light standards. Where they hang above. The problem is that those lines across Harry Dick and Hussey would be hydro lines and bell lines. They're not light standard lines.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how that would work, but Jason's looking into alternatives.
Perfect.
I had a couple of issues also with Jason, but it can go to the next meeting.
Yeah, or just send him an email, give him a call. You have his number as well.
Yeah.
It doesn't always have to get brought up.
No, it's not urgent. It's not urgent.
Okay.
One of them was for next
But
year.
I did appreciate though the summary of the vehicle count
Me
for the
too.
way sites. I just think it was just very useful information.
That's a really useful actually point for looking at, because the township itself is what, about 1,900 people?
Yeah.
Around there,
Yeah.
so the external township, that's almost 4 times the population in the months of July and August. Of people in
But,
the community,
but our population goes to more like
they're higher,
10,000. Like depending
so-
on rentals
so think,
and,
yeah,
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 yeah, so it's about,
it's a good metric to have for
It's about-
tourism strategy,
Yeah.
right?
but you realize how important Sand Road is. With the household hazardous waste and like, it's,
It's good data,
pardon
it's
me,
good data.
it's great
Well,
data,
it's
yeah.
nice, like, so
Yeah.
that's why I always thought the best use of the actually speed sign on top of just being a speed sign. One of the best things, so it does track a lot of information for us. You can
Yeah,
see
it
how many
does.
people come and go, and that's
Yeah.
good information and track businesses to the area.
Yeah.
So in traffic count and stuff, so.
Yeah.
Anything else for Jason's report?
We'll give him those 3 insights and he can, when he comes back. At the first
Yeah, it's,
meeting
I
in
don't,
October.
yeah, I was gonna say November.
November, sorry.
Yeah,
This is
it's all
the
right.
first meeting in October.
Yeah.
Thanks.
That's what I'm here for, that's why I'm chair.
We're all,
Another year.
we're all a bit discombobulated after
We're all turkeyed
Thanksgiving.
out.
So am I.
Perfect. So that's everything for Jason's. So then Daryl, is he with us today?
He is.
Close by, so I saw him down.
He's longer.
Daryl?
You'll see a shadow come.
Sandra's like one of my brothers when we were kids.
Well, we're
Can
meeting
you go
Daryl.
find, can you go find your brother? Doug!
Daryl, welcome.
Hello again.
Hi,
It
how was your lunch?
was great.
Was it a good lunch?
Yeah, it was good. lunch.
Good.
Yeah, it was a recruitment drive.
I know.
They got me.
Yes.
They got me.
Where was this? Where was this
Rotary.
lunch? Oh,
Did you want to join?
Are you gonna be a junior firefighter? Is that what we're doing?
Oh, join Rotary.
I'm not 18 apparently.
No.
Mhm. So,
I knew it would be, but I thank you guys for going. I really appreciate it. I had a meeting this morning and I wasn't sure what time it would end and it ended at 10 to 12. So I'm glad I didn't say that I would go.
well, Daryl, walk us through a report.
Okay, well, thank you. So we'll jump right into fire. As you can see, we have surpassed last year's numbers. Last weekend, we had 6 calls alone, and so it's been busy and
I really like every year, 7 PM, Thanksgiving Saturday,
goes on.
every year.
Yeah, I was
It
pumping-
never fails.
Tradition.
I was pumping gas and I just see the SUV go flying by. I'm like, oh yeah, looks like fun.
Every year.
Well, it's been interesting summer, so. So again, our numbers are up a little bit from last year, but it's something we just can't control.
So you're saying you're now actually at 75?
No, I haven't, no, we're at 65 since at the end of September. Or 69, so we're gonna probably be, a couple of them were September, October. was
Oh,
right at the
okay.
start.
Sorry, I thought you meant Thanksgiving weekend.
No, we
Okay.
started weekend before.
Okay,
There was like 4 on the weekend and then 2 October 1st. So
okay, so you're,
we're at 71,
okay,
but the other one on Saturday would be 70,
Yeah.
72. So,
so you're 10 over last year already.
It's not a good record to break, Daryl.
Yeah, Daryl, I'm just saying, man,
well, I thought that was a number I was supposed to strive for.
Yeah.
no,
Okay, I'll do better.
you're trying to break your own record.
So, yeah, again, I mean, it's just something that's been just one of those years. So we'll jump right into the junior firefighter program.
Yes,
So, this is the framework for it. We're gonna start rolling it out. This is fire prevention week, so I told Mike, just hold off until you all had a chance to look at it. And then he's going to the schools this week, so he says now would be the time.
okay, so I have 2 things. Number 1, under number 10, it says that a junior firefighter cannot do anything during school hours. Is there any potential for them to be co-ops so they actually can?
I'd have to look into that.
Okay, so if you could check with the guidance counselor and just
Yeah.
see if that might count.
Okay.
It's a little difficult because they would have to shadow you basically, because you wouldn't have calls all the time. It might be an unusual co-op.
Yeah.
Especially for hours, et cetera, but it was just a question.
Okay.
And my other thing was under where the parents sign, could we please change, my son, daughter to my child? And it's several different places.
I can do that.
Thank you.
I think one other one too, is they're not allowed to go on scene, which I get, but is there anything they can witness so that, because it's incentive for them to want to be, if they see a fire, because that's the way I read it, that they can't go to an actual fire or scene, right?
But there was something in here that you put in about that they could go be an observer, correct?
I'd have to,
I have to stand back and watch.
I'm just thinking how kids
Yeah,
are,
well, if they-
because
Yeah, of
if they're
course.
just in a building learning equipment, it's like, what's the interest in that, right?
I-
They
I
want to
can
see the
stay
big
outside
picture.
the hot zone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mm.
But I thought there was something.
saving kitties from a tree or something.
They can't attend overnight standby, which of course, then they can't operate the. I thought there was something in here.
See, I have a prohibited attend active scenes.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that there was. With the
Well, they're really the only time is they don't have receivers prohibitive for it. So like the only time they would ever end up being on an educational observe would just be if they're doing a
Yeah.
training program and then they're going with you outside that.
Yeah.
Yeah, to stay in the vehicle, kind of.
Right.
We're not giving them pagers, so they wouldn't know when we're going.
No, and you don't want that either.
I thought that, maybe I'm wrong, or maybe I thought that there should be a caveat that said. With permission of the chief that they could be an observer.
I would say if
Practice
we're here on a training night and they're with us and we have a call, I would say we probably, depending on how many are signed up,
Yeah,
we may take them with us. I'll have to think about that
Require-
on the legal side for
Because,
the like for,
If you're called upon to perform a duty, then they may be unattended at the scene.
Yeah.
So they might be worried.
it might be a little bit unorthodox to do that, but it's something, you're right, I mean.
It's the hands-on,
Yeah.
right? So they can actually see what you do on the job.
and even the firefighters, I mean, they don't want scenes, but that's when they get their practical,
Yeah.
right?
Okay,
Or, run and get me this, run and get me that kind of thing for the
But-
kids.
Go for it.
Go for it, that's the
Daryl,
word.
I don't think there's any, I didn't read any contradiction to them attending, say, when you burn down the old abandoned farmhouse, when they have training, supervised training bells, you can do that.
Yeah, they're allowed to go to training.
yeah, we're allowed to
Yeah.
go training. So change, so son or the child. And then number, okay. All right,
Or the youth.
yeah, how can we work?
Thank you, and it's several places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
well, I didn't reinvent the wheel on this, I just.
I,
That was very good.
nor should you.
Yeah,
It was
You
great.
know what? If somebody already has this and it could have been written 20 years ago or 15 years ago. Things have changed. It was something I noticed.
yeah, no, this was actually, we had this when I was in GM, and I just brought it with me,
Okay,
so there was something that I was. Right, well,
I like it.
I love it.
I didn't bring it when I first started, because I had no idea I was gonna be doing this new role, so.
I think it's great.
Right,
So as soon as I took it on, that's when I started to. Think
Right.
about it again, so
Perfect.
do it.
they make the changes.
And there weren't many, just a couple of things that we noted, I guess.
Yeah. Well, that's fine. I never thought about that. So I can't wear these glasses. I left my visions at home. These are my spare pair and I just can't see through them. I'm gonna take them off.
It's really handy.
Yeah, but
Will you
really.
be driving later? And if
I
so,
don't need it
where?
for driving. Maybe I just hold them here, so. So that's pretty much it for fire. So we will jump in the building. And again, the building report's attached.
Mhm.
The numbers are what they are. I've got 4 more issued and there's a couple sitting in the inbox. So we'll see if the last little kick at the cat's coming up for the end of the year.
I thought it was interesting that September 2022 and 2023 were only like $100,000 apart.
Yeah,
That's the timing is very interesting.
yeah. And again, we'll see what happens next year. I know a lot of people are just sitting around deciding on.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm fielding lots of phone calls again and lots of irons in the fire for possibly the spring, but I just want to know. So,
Can I ask a question that's gonna sound really stupid? Is SFD single family dwelling?
correct.
Thank you. I couldn't figure it out, and I thought, oh, I'll ask him before the meeting, and then we didn't get a chance to talk.
I honestly thought Tracy was gonna ask what
Oh,
it's for, but
I see more gray on the other side now.
that wisdom.
Maybe I should expand on my. Oh, okay.
I knew.
You know, if that's what they focus on your report on, then your report's
You're
good.
okay.
Yeah,
All right. So as you see, I recently attended the opioid conference in Niagara Falls.
Mhm.
It was one of the largest, well, Niagara Falls, that's where everybody went. There was over 600 delegates. The technical sessions were absolutely fantastic. You always pull something away out of them when you're in there. But and then our representative for our chapter, Jean Benoit, went in front of the board and told them what we were up to with trying to recruit, and they were very impressed. I don't know if they never thought of it themselves, but and they are working on something to assist us. So we may go ahead and do our own thing, and then maybe if whatever they come up with, we'll work it in again. But they were quite impressed at what we're trying to do.
it's almost like the municipality has to go and do a career day at the high schools. Like have all the department heads and have council there and staff there and almost woo them into going into these different faculties when they get into undergrad,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and because there's 4 municipalities that the kids attended Opiongo, we're gonna try and bring all the CBOs in from each municipality.
No, just ours. I shouldn't have put that on YouTube. It's just for Montashire Valley.
You have to be fair about it.
Yeah,
so.
no,
But you see that across the board, like people are going, like, especially in your trades and stuff, like this is what they also don't teach. They teach people to swing a hammer, but then all the other alternatives with it. It's like several electricians now, they're recruited to be salespeople in large electrical companies. Then all they do is sales, because they know the product, they can design it, they can work on it. And it's just different avenues for people. And that's why it'll attract more people with chief billing official, right?
It's just, we're just trying to figure out how we want to do this. I've already approached the shop teachers about, I really don't know if I want to get up in front of a whole, like gym full of people. I'd rather do it in a smaller setting. But we'll have to see how we're gonna do it.
but why couldn't you just have the school put it out? If anybody's ever thought of this,
Yeah.
then Daryl will meet you in the classroom
Yeah.
102 at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, like I said, I'll have to work it out with the shop teacher to see how we're.
Yeah,
Almost thing out, probably in the new year.
okay.
Yeah, as things start to settle down here, we're gonna ramp that up.
But I think there's an opportunity for all the department heads to recruit like that,
Yeah.
right? Before some of them decide where they want to go to school, where they want to apply, what they want to apply for.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's sort of why I was asking about co-op as well, because I'm a huge believer in co-op. I think it's so important.
I don't know if it's just a matter of us signing up. I'm not sure. I'll have to see how it works.
It's just it's the unusual facet of it being a part-time fire department
Mhm.
or an on-call fire
Yeah.
department. That's where it sort of falls off the rails. I was just wondering if anybody had ever thought of that.
No, I can't say. I've never heard of it.
Okay.
But I mean, we could also look at it on the CBO side as well, right?
Yeah,
You know? Because I did have, because with the junior fire for the program, I did question about, they still have to do their 40 hours in community service, I believe, so
Yeah.
I'll go towards that as well.
for sure.
Yeah, so,
That's great.
okay. Well, that's all I have, so, any questions?
Now, does Daryl need anything from us for this junior firefighter program, or do we just bless it and let him go for it?
Yeah, I think that's,
Right?
It's his baby.
I just wasn't sure if he needed a resolution or anything like that to say yes or no, or,
we will
But-
talk, once we get the document updated and sorted out, we'll have a conversation with our insurance. If they would like
Okay.
something,
Yeah.
or if we're good to go.
okay, great. I just wanted to know next steps. Thank you.
Okay,
Have a great day, Daryl. Thank you. Okay, that's all the reports. Does anyone require a break? Perfect, we'll keep going. Correspondence A. Anyone have any questions with correspondence A? Comments? Murph?
I don't know, I just found it interesting. I don't know if you've heard anything about it or not, but I was reading this AMO baseline waste and recycling report reviews on current economy after only 10 years. Left disposal capacity. Whatever happened a couple of years ago when producers were going to supposed to take care of that and council going to live in heaven.
I'm gonna leave that to Annette to answer because the absurdity of this is abundant.
You look impressed.
It's
It's been a long road. It's been a long road, many meetings, much discussion. So Renfrew did transition this year in July. I do have a meeting set up with their manager of waste to have a discussion with them because the issue is dealing with the non-eligibles. So the producers have agreed to come in and take over the recycling program. I've also reached out to both Amterra, Millers, Barron's, whoever's interested in working with us, because the RFPs for our area, because we transitioned in 2025, they are due, they were due at the end of October, but now it's the fourth quarter that they're due. So they haven't even come out yet. So we're willing to work with them. However, we need to work with them because at the end of the day, we still have garbage. So we still have a truck, we still have staff, we still have all of that. If we have somebody else dealing with our recycling, that's fine. And they're not supposed to call us, they're supposed to call them, but we all know if things don't happen, they're going to call us. So we're trying to figure out, do people want us to continue to collect? We're happy to work with them as a subcontractor of whoever gets the contract through the producers. And, businesses, schools, municipal offices are ineligible to have their recycling picked up. So the question is, what do we do with these ineligible properties? So next year, I'm going to put out a list and ask people, show people, these are the list of ineligible properties. Please let me know. I will ask the residents to please let me know if there's a reason that you should be eligible. So we could have a commercial business that has residents on top, but we have that property is ineligible. They're not going to pick up there, but they should. We have some outdoor public, we did make that move to, they will pick up our outdoor public facilities, so many. So we have that in play. And then of course, new developments, as we know, we have new development going on. Well, that's not on the record right now. So we have made them aware of these new development sites that they will have to include in their plan in 2025. And we continue to work with them and go through this project, and hopefully by the end of, when we transition at the beginning of January 2025, we will have all that ready to go and it will be as seamless as possible. And then our depots, we did argue on that number. They were going to 25% of our depot recycling was going to be charged back to us as assumed as ineligible. We did get to agree that our commercial and ineligible outside the village is only 6%. So we're only going to pay for 6% now instead of 25%. And that's about where we're at. And then come 2026, so 1 year after transition, everything changes again. So we don't know what those details will be, but for now it stays until 2025, from 2025 to 2026, we'll see. And then 2026, lots up for grabs.
You'll fill me in where I put my Richie farm report from Alberta. Farm report in French.
We will do our very best. They are supposed to pay for all the public education and promotion. But we will be here to assist and push it and do the very best we can to make the transition as seamlessly as it can be.
Well, thank you. I thought it had died.
When there's no commodity for recyclables except for metals, I'm not exactly sure. I mean, years ago, recycling glass and plastic and cardboard was fine. But when there are no commodities and the people that are utilizing, say, plastic bottles, they're making hoodies or jackets, but that market seems to have gone away or is very, very, very expensive. So I'm not sure how this is going to help, but the devil will be in the details in 2025.
You see,
There's a lot of swearing about this in the hallways at conferences.
I don't know if it comes to this and that, all these tubes, these plastic tubes that's covering hay, there's miles of them, none of it shows up at the dump. Can't be recycled,
Oh, yeah, it's not recyclable.
no,
No.
it's like, where's it going?
It can be recycled if it's cleaned properly. We have had days at what used to be Bowman's, which is now Terra, where we had this is your day to bring in your recycling. I have run a broom and a you know, I've cleaned those pieces of plastic.
Well, you're supposed to hose them off.
Hose them off, I broom them off.
Do you know why you're supposed to hose them off?
Yeah.
Not just sweep them? Because once they go around the hay, they actually create a chemical. So you have to be very careful, as you know, opening those bags, because the chemical will knock you on your behind. So you're not just supposed to sweep them off in order for them to be recycled. And I do use that word lightly. They are supposed to be hosed down and washed.
Yeah.
I just don't see it.
So, yeah, so we're working through that. We'll continue to work through that. And I know there was some county initiative in trying to get some type of incineration going. It hasn't come to fruition yet, but we definitely have put our hands up multiple times to say we'd be interested in the discussion. So
Because,
waste is,
Thank you, I thought it had died.
no,
Okay.
no,
but I'll just add to the potential supplier of that incineration. The technology has not been proven out yet. So don't hold your breath for that either. And there was some mixed messaging between the municipality that was going to host it and the company. The municipality thought that they could burn recyclables, and the company was saying, no, we can't. So there was some confusion there as well. But we did put our hands up.
Sounds good. Any other questions? Okay, so we'll move on to correspondence B.
Yes to the Legion.
Agreed.
And boy, do those banners ever look lovely. I wish they were a little lower. They're a little high, but they still look amazing.
they weren't
Yes.
allowed to be, that was Hydro's call. They had to be, some of them were already installed. But
Yes,
even the new ones installed, they had to be a certain height. Yeah, it's a
Okay.
safety.
there you go.
Mhm.
Learn something new every day.
And Jason had no concerns on that request as well. He
Great.
did let me know that before he left.
I've got him in my mayor's report.
Can I ask a question? Remind me, I know I was told before, what's MFIPA stands for?
The information.
Municipal
Yeah.
freedom of information.
Information.
Okay,
Yes,
yeah,
thank
now I
you.
remember, okay.
I couldn't remember what the M was. That's pretty
Protection
sad.
of privacy.
Protection of privacy. Thank you.
Perfect.
And that issue is not going away anytime soon.
Nope. So that's everything correspondence B. So everyone agrees, thumbs up, yes to the Legion. Perfect. Correspondence C, there's nothing.
Brand.
Bought our tickets for the museum. Let's add that.
New business.
It's new business.
That'll be number, oh, yes, okay. I see what Tracy was trying. Sorry, my gray hairs are coming out.
I know.
Tracy.
Yeah.
Happens.
You
Okay.
really did try though.
Yeah.
I applaud the effort.
Well, it's empty, so I think we should add some.
I know.
Museum.
I don't see a letter.
I'll provide a letter next meeting. Okay, so then new unfinished business, we move on to the mayor's report.
Okay, sorry about not being on the agenda, guys. I didn't think I could get it done. I got it done, so I don't want another 7-pager. Since my last report, I attended 24 meetings and several events. Some of my highlights are as follows. The Roma board meeting was, we were in Waterloo for September 14th and 15th. We started our strategic plan brainstorming session on Thursday, September 14th. And it went late into the evening. The new strategic plan will be completed by December of this year. We do have our strat plan number 2 meeting is Thursday afternoon into the evening, and I will be attending that by Zoom, just because I've got finance and admin at the county in the morning. On Friday, September 15th, we had our board meeting. We had a report on trains and drains, the Teeny Tiny Summit, and discussion around our 2024 meeting dates and places. We got AMO policy updates on the provincial policy statement submissions, public health reverting back to the 75-25 split, but details have not been revealed. And there's a heavy push to have us amalgamate health units. I will say the idea was that if you had a population of less than 100,000 for a health unit, that you should be amalgamating. My feeling is that Renfrew County, our topography and our demographic just does not allow for us to amalgamate, or we would have to actually split the county in two and send the northern half with that health unit and the southern half with whatever health unit. So there will be a pushback on that. And I do sit on the Board of Health, and we've had this conversation with our medical officer.
Well, it seems to me, and I haven't used it, but it works well. So why fix it if it's not broken?
This is the push from the province right now. MPAC appears to be stalled by the province. So they stalled us until 2024, and we know 2025 into 2026 is an election cycle. So MPAC is feeling that the next full assessment will be in 2027, which means that they will be out of date 11 years, which is a long time. We were provided an update to access to services in rural Ontario. We had 186 responses. Biggest concerns are, of course, homelessness, primary care physicians, the need for walk-in clinics, and mental health and addiction resources. I have no doubt those are not any news to you guys. This is what we're hearing all over the place. So we had a presentation from the region of Waterloo, and they outlined one of their initiatives for their homelessness population. I provided it to county council because it is a regional, it's not the city of Waterloo. So they owned land near a paramedic base, and they built 50, I'm going to call them C-cans, basically. They're a C-can sort of cut in half. All right, so shipping containers cut in half. They put 50 on this land, and they built a building, a common building for laundry, that kind of thing. I want you to keep in mind that they were only built in April of this year. So they have a heater in them and they have air conditioning. So we were not able to get stats on what it costs to run them because they're, of course, not heavily insulated.
They don't know yet.
Pardon me?
They don't know yet.
They don't know yet, that's right. However, I will say that even owning the land, building the 50 and the main building was about $2.3 million, and it was all out of the tax levy. So no grants, nothing, which is very interesting. We also had a delegation from the BIA in Uptown Waterloo. They had some initiatives for tiny home takeouts. Again, a bit of a different demographic here, but very interesting anyway. The Roma conference themed closer to home will take place Sunday, January 21st to Tuesday, January 23rd, 2024. In Toronto, the Roma board continues policy and advocacy development on ensuring rural communities have access to services closer to home. And Annette I have a room and Annette has a room. Did anybody else want to go? Because she booked one other room.
When is this? Right?
January 21st to 23rd. Now, generally, we would go down on the 20th and not come back till the 24th or the night of the 23rd.
Where is it again?
Sheraton.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, she will need to know sooner rather than later because registration opens next Thursday. So,
Okay.
so we've got one more room.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'd like to go.
Okay, yeah, I just need to cancel the room, I think by the end of November, otherwise they'll charge us for the whole week. Although we may be able to get rid of it to somebody else.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought.
Registration, I'm not.
But I thought the room was October. That's why I was giving them a week
Was it
before.
October?
I thought that's what you told me, but I could be wrong.
Maybe it's October, or maybe it's the 1st of November, not the end of November.
Oh, maybe, okay. I had the end of October in my head and I didn't want to screw that up.
Yes,
I have
that's when-
places to stay in Toronto if anybody needs a room, so
See, and I've done that too. I will say,
it's better to have a room.
you don't want to do that. I've stayed at my parents' house for 2 of our Roma conferences.
Very unproductive.
It's very unproductive. You want to be on site. You don't even want to be in a hotel, a 5-minute walk or 10-minute walk away. You want to be on site. There is so much networking that goes on. It is the networking and the meeting of minds in the hallways is sometimes as important as the plenaries and everything else.
Get more down there than that.
Yeah, but if I had, when did you book our rooms for? The Saturday night?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have to go on the Saturday because I have a Roma board meeting on the Sunday. I
Okay.
always have to go.
I'd like to go and if I can confirm that now, or do I,
Yeah, that's fine. If
Yeah.
you want to confirm that now.
I'm
that's
just
fine.
looking at the online. Yeah.
And I probably won't register us until January, because it would be part of the next budget, but the rooms will be this budget.
You know, you don't register me though, right?
Oh, I don't have to register?
No, Roma will register me as a board member.
So I'll just.
It gets very confusing.
Okay.
Okay, did anybody else have an interest in going?
And Merv and I agreed to stay here and make sure Bon Shore Valley survives while you're away.
I love it. The teamwork. It's good.
Oh, I won't be there.
You don't want to go?
No,
Okay.
I'm good, thank
So the 3 of you are gonna hold down the fort.
Shit, we gotta get another dozen beer.
All right. So a copy of the county council summary is in your correspondence. I will tell you, a notice of motion was brought forward by Mayor's Service of Petawawa with regard to the fire dispatch system cost sharing. So one thing that we didn't take into consideration when we were doing the weighted assessment is that in fact, the town of Petawawa includes Garrison, which has their own fire department, and the town of Deep River has CNL, and they have their own fire department. So the way it was cost shared was not fair. So that 14,000 that I told you guys about may increase, but it won't increase very much, but it will increase. So sorry about that. But I'm glad that Gary brought it up because if it had come up at budget time, nobody would have even realized. But because it was a one-off, they were like, well, wait a minute, we have our own fire departments.
On that subject,
yeah,
when we had the fire at Snowdrifter's waste site
yes,
and both NAW and BV came in, is that a formalized agreement with us that we help each other whenever needed?
yes, it's called mutual aid. That's a great question, John. Okay, so at Snowdrifters, because of our proximity, Eganville Hall is the first dispatch. When they get there and North Algona gets there, after them, then North Algona gets dispatched, then Bon Shore Valley can leave. Or North Algona can request us to stay and help, and in this case, they did because it was a garbage fire
Had potential to be a very drastic thing.
and toxic
And hard to put out.
and hard to put out because it's all construction waste.
Before amalgamation, someone set our waste site at Ruby's out. And you think we had to take a bulldozer.
Oh, I believe it.
We had a
We
bulldozer.
had one Christmas party.
Fight it
one.
with a bulldozer.
Eh?
You had to fight the fire with a bulldozer.
No, spread it out with the bulldozer. The
Oh, I
fire,
see.
so the
Yes,
fire
yes,
departments
yes,
could put it out.
yes.
We had a Christmas party one year where our entire department had to leave because Sand Road was on fire. So. I'm also going to email all of you, and I can do it right now, the paramedic service PowerPoint on a mental health addictions and homelessness hub response partnership, that should prove to be very interesting. Early stages, early. I was in a Board of Health meeting last week, and I did ask Dr. Morgenstern, where do we fit in? It's early days, they're gathering all the stakeholders, but there definitely will be a role for us. And the other thing, I understand, and I didn't put this in my report because it's actually in this week's finance and admin report, but I understand that there was a shared services meeting at the county
Yes.
for the
Sandra
local,
attended.
Sandra went, okay, so was it good? Great, okay, because I'll report on that next month because it's in my Thursday report. EACDG, although we had to postpone the beer and wine event, the community event, raised a small amount of money and the fireworks were a hit. Public skating was very popular. Of note, George and Leah, owners of Rio Tap and Grill, donated all of the chili, the chicken soup and the buns. So thanks to Rio and all the volunteers from EACDG. Planning for next year, thoughts were an accessible picnic table for under the sunshade at Legion Field, a playground structure for Legion Field, and holding the beer and wine fest in early June. So more to come with that. Our community improvement plan, I'm so happy that we, later on today, we have the two facade improvement applications through our community improvement plan from Rio Tap and Grill and Our Space for approval, which is fantastic. I hope lots of people look into this. And events on September 10th, I attended the Signature Team Realty's 10th anniversary and presented them with a congratulatory certificate. On September 17th, I, along with Councillor Buckwald, attended the opening ceremonies of Eganville Legion Branch 353's Legion Week. The banners honoring the veterans from our area were on display. Thanks to Hydro One for donating their time to install the banners, which will be on display until after Remembrance Day. And thanks to our Jason for liaising with Hydro One to get this done. That was been
A lot of Kevin.
oh, and Kevin, sorry,
Yeah.
sorry. I'm gonna change this right now. Jason,
Jason was involved as well. but
And
he was-
Kevin.
as well.
okay,
And Emma was actually there for the install.
and Emma. Just so it's in the minutes.
Yeah.
On September 23rd, I attended the retirement of firefighter Tom Cadets at the Legion. Tom served on our fire department for 25 years. Thanks to Tom for his service to our community. On September 23rd, I, along with councillors Sanderson and Epps, attended the community event and fireworks. Thank you to Annette, Kevin, and the EACDG for making this event great. On September 24th, I, along with Councillor Epps, attended a private home to greet the Austrian ambassador to Canada, Sylvia Mir-Kabak. It was a lovely event and a beautiful day for her and her staff to be in Bonashir Valley. And this concludes my report. Thank you.
I just wanted to add that the ambassador from Austria to Canada has given us permission to call the mayor Herr Damen Burgermeister.
Burgermeister, that's right. So that's what John calls me now, her Burgermeister. But she had a name for everybody. What was the warden?
Oh,
It was so good.
Galvin.
Anyway, it was an amazing event, guys. Like beautiful, a little hot, but a beautiful day. The leaves were just starting to change. A great party spot at Joe's house. Like that was just incredible.
It was Herr Graf Peter Ima.
That's right.
Means the count.
The count, that's right. Yeah, it was.
You two could have had a title if you'd.
I'm just saying.
Next time.
Yeah, she had a name for Cheryl. So Cheryl Gallant came and the warden, couldn't be there because they're sitting, obviously in Toronto, so he had to be there. But no, great, absolutely fantastic event.
Quick, this question coming from your talk, Mayor's report. Chairman of the Health Committee for Renfrew County is?
The medical officer of health or the chair of
The chair of the committee. You're a member of the committee.
we don't have one at this time.
Oh, okay.
Acting chair because our chair stepped down. It was the end of her term.
Okay.
So we don't elect until January. But our acting chair right now is Joanne King and she lives here in Bonashir Valley. And she did an amazing job of chairing our meeting. We had a very interesting presentation from our Ontario Health team, the one there, not there. And she allowed, even though it went long, she allowed for some really great questions. And I think I didn't want to be cheeky, but one of my queries through all of this is how do these OHTs differ from what were the LINs? And realistically, they kind of don't. So, and I'm glad you're nodding, John, as probably the expert in this, that's sitting at
Well,
the table.
I served on the District Health Council long before Lynn's came in, so
Okay.
you're right, it does the same job.
Yes, and when they did the presentation, I thought, well, that's exactly what the mandate of the Lynn's were. So is this, like I've said this at other times, is this just a letterhead change?
Just a different name.
Yeah, in any case, I'll send that out, I'll send that presentation out to you as well. But really, really, really well chaired. Normally we don't let meetings go long, but she allowed it because it was so important.
Well, Lynn and I watched the Brentford County Health, I guess, committee, because of interest in senior affairs. And it does a good job. It's well reported, and it's also on Zoom, so I can watch it. Or maybe just specific ones are on Zoom.
Are you talking our CDHU or county?
No, this is for the county, because we've watched a couple of their meetings.
Okay,
Because,
health committee or community services?
It's health, I think, because Nicholson's there and you're there.
I'm there, yeah, Rob Weir,
Yeah,
my
Yeah.
seatmates,
yeah. So
Yeah.
in fact,
that's,
so maybe it was just for specific debates. It was on Zoom.
Okay.
On YouTube, sorry.
okay, we're sitting tomorrow morning, if you're interested.
You never know.
The only, I guess, it's more of a conversation. So the ACDG's looking at a play structure at Legion Field.
Yes,
The only, I guess, so St. James School, they're fundraising for their kindergarten actually play structure, and they want to install it next summer. That's actually their timeline. I'm
okay,
just wondering on,
ordering them together.
well, there's that, but it's also, do we think that a play structure is necessary at Legion Field? I understand that, yes, it could, but you look at the proximity from, is there other things that we could, that maybe would be more beneficial, because you're gonna get a brand new one, most likely at St. James, which has 2 play structures.
This is a great conversation, Brent. Thank you for bringing it up.
Yeah,
The conversation with parents was that, well, kids are playing soccer, while kids are playing baseball, while kids are in the splash pad, it would be great to have a play structure. But I totally get where you're coming from, and if you have other ideas, please chuck
yeah,
them at me.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's more just on, we have something different, I guess is the best way, because you have a lot in one area. That's 3 play structures and 100, like a 200-meter radius.
Yeah.
So our population doesn't really, in my opinion, demand 3 and stuff, and everyone who is at school will utilize them. I understand having a play structure up there. It's just, what's our long-term plan or whatever.
The other thing is
Yeah.
that the municipality then takes it over and has to maintain it.
Well, that's my
So,
base thing.
yeah.
These play structures aren't cheap, and especially we have a lot of things that we keep having to take over where we have a lot of.
Yep.
And it's just more, I guess we can talk about that at a strategic plan meeting as well.
Yep.
Is just what is our focus gonna be at Legion Field, and what's gonna get the best bang for the buck?
Mhm.
Like you have one utilized volleyball court and one not.
But if you guys think of anything else,
And if the EACD, if that's a fundraising goal, they wanna do it, it depends on our upkeep afterwards and
Yeah.
stuff, especially since we have another organization that is putting in a brand new one.
Yep.
And it's in the similar proximity, in my opinion, so it's just other alternatives, be it a different play structure.
if anybody has any ideas, well, even, what might be really nice
Oh,
is a natural play
Well,
structure.
so you have the natural, I don't remember, there's one really nice park, it's I'd have to pull up the exact link, it's my phone. But there's a couple good natural ones as well. It's just, all I'm saying is just, if we have a focus of what we want Legion Field to look like as a whole.
Yeah.
So we have the new cedar shed that we did, we have the new benches that we're putting in, which are all aluminum based. Okay, what can we do on our end to tie everything in as one?
Right.
Because you want it to be discombobulated.
Like a
Like-
theme to it, right?
Like, that's the thing,
Well,
it
and-
attracts like pickleball is huge,
Yeah.
like I know in like Whitney, for example, they get a massive pickleball group, and there's a lot of other, I think the fastest growing sport or something. like
It
that.
is,
It's
in the
huge,
world.
so the thing is,
Yeah.
it's like, okay. What do we, so then when we're looking at it, it's like, oh, maybe we have to focus on that, especially when you're trying to drive more people to come to our community versus, I think so.
But it's funny that you say that about sort of the continuity of the logs and the
Yeah.
cedar, and so we had this conversation about, they're an octagon or a hexagon. Picnic table, and there are spaces open for accessibility. And the question was, should we be making it so that it ties in to McCray Park and the benches and everything else? So yes, that there were action items for people to take away and go and speak to certain stakeholders in the community.
Yeah, it's more just I guess I look at it like you have such a great splash pad up there, and
Yeah.
if people end up fundraising and want to put in a play structure, all alternatives, I'm just saying, like, it's just making that, like, it's the nice appeal on
Yeah.
our end. It's like, what can we do to tie
Mhm.
everything in? Be it, maybe we put in bunch of gardens next year, maybe put in, paint up the community center that's up there, just blend it in. It's just on our end. If
Yeah.
people are gonna, and then incentivizes maybe more fundraising in the community.
I was thinking, Kevin and I were talking briefly at lunch about the graffiti issues in town.
Oh,
So as a parent myself, teenage boys, it's always deflect, right? Move them onto something. If it's kids doing this, whomever is doing, create a space where they can create graffiti. So maybe at a park like this or a skateboard park, to avoid like the incident at the tourist booth, the kids throwing the skateboards up on the roof. Like maybe there's things like that you can deflect them from causing damage to create spaces where they can create and they can skateboard and they can do all that stuff.
I forgot to shoot you an email. I did speak to the OPP about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, a wall to do graffiti. You could have kids having competitions, it's a creative outlet for them, rather than doing stuff wrong in town, we can control it. Somewhat.
Somewhat, yeah, but
Somewhat. It's an
no, I'm
attempt.
just thinking. We've got
Street art.
several,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Make it, kind of formalize it. It's just
Yeah,
deflecting, taking away
Yeah,
from the
yeah, yeah.
badness to.
Is it your
turning it-
kids?
Not my kids. They're not that talented.
Okay, I'm gonna take that back to,
Well, it's more of a conversation
Yeah.
piece, like, it's like, okay, so maybe there's just other alternatives we
Yeah.
can look at as well. Just-
okay.
I like the idea of the theme that you're talking about, the logs.
Yeah, and like,
carrying
if they have
it
a
through
better
the-
idea, it's something we can bring to a council next year, be like, hey, if you guys are raising X amount for this, and this is the scale of the project we're looking at, okay, well, this is something the council's gonna commit to as well.
Well, so we really want to commit to this beer and wine fest. And it was funny that, one of our members brought up that her daughter was somewhere and they were doing small charcuterie boards. Like you have to have some amount of food, right?
Yeah.
And I said, because I had offered I've got huge ones, but we don't eat like that after COVID, right? I'm not sharing a plate of meats and cheeses where other people have we just don't do it anymore. So I was thinking that.
I do, but
Like a lunch.
Do
box.
I
you?
love charcuterie boards.
Like, so
I've been to
do
so
I.
many events where we have like cheese and meats and stuff.
I know they're my
Throw
favorite,
them all in a cheese box and you can pass them out. It's perfect.
but I was thinking if we had small charcuterie boards made with our logo on them. So it's a fundraiser, but it's also a branding exercise where you buy your charcuterie plate, but you get to take that home,
Mhm.
right? So now they've got something with Bonachir Valley on it. Or with Beer and Wine Fest 2024, whatever, but we were throwing out ideas to make it. You absolutely have to have food if you're going to have people, sipping on beers or
But
wines.
I think that ties into what we've talked about before, and this is part of our conversation probably in the strategic plan, is like one of our roles here is to promote our township, people will move here. It's like in Daryl's report. A
Yeah.
lot of municipalities don't have a lot of development this year. A lot of them are down 50%. We're fortunate that we have a unique year because of development, but the thing is, when it comes down to it, it's just, we have to promote, like, we have a lot of lots in the area that are getting sold, just people are saying on, so people want to come to our community, and that's our role, so like, I agree with, so be it, okay, maybe we look at, okay, we order in 50 charcuterie boards, and we promote that at events, you raffle it off, it's like, for example, they're doing the Buplo Rocks this year.
Yeah.
100%, you could put together a nice charcuterie board, and we could donate as a council with a Bonachir Union or Boncher Valley, like Township Cherry Board or T-shirts and stuff. Like, I think it's beneficial.
The guy that did the.
She's looking at me, I'm
I
like-
was going to, the
The
guy,
boards at the,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, so we have a potential vendor as well.
Well, no, but that's the thing. It's like, how do we get more people to come to BV and how can we promote it outside of just us having a sign?
We
Well,
need a
like-
tourism strategy working group, honestly, I think.
But I'm outside of my scope here because
Yeah.
Sarah's report isn't in here, but one of the things that Sarah and I were talking about that I understand she was talking to you about is ensuring that there is a welcome package. With all the questions that we get asked every weekend, like, is the dump open?
Yeah.
So
The
everything all
Food
in
bank hour,
one.
like that's one, food bank hours, I'll let you know where that is.
Yes. Last Wednesday of the month,
Is it? Okay.
yeah,
there you go.
9 to noon. But that's because I work there.
Well, and that's the thing. It's no different than like the library will put in with when your realtors have their sign packages,
Mhm.
then they
Yeah.
have their little library, like, hey, this is how you get a
It's like a
card.
new
this is how
parent
you do stuff.
package.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
Maybe we
it's no
should
different
get
than
an
a lot of
update
new
from
tenants.
Sarah on
You
that.
put in welcoming package
you.
and here's all the information.
okay, sorry,
Perhaps
that's,
when
we're
you're
out of our
sitting with
scope here.
DEA, CDG next time, you could say, we're really like the idea, we like ideas like the playground. Why don't you ask them to think for 5 years ahead, and if they were so lucky as to win the lottery, what would be 3 projects that they'd like to tackle? So look at it that way, in Legion Field and say, and then I think that the theme will evolve.
I think that we have a theme. I think that we've chosen that very rustic log, and I think that thanks to the authors of McCray Park, they sort of started that, right? They started the theme and we've kept on with it. And I don't disagree with Brent. I think, promoting, especially after COVID, when we have so many newcomers here, what can be done to make it even better? And, I'm so thrilled to see another business going in downtown that should be opening on November 1st that I will let you know about. But, I think that there are opportunities here and we have to help out with the facilitation, for lack of a better
We
term.
need like a meetup. I just met a bunch of new women that moved here in the last few years.
Yeah,
that,
it's wild.
that have moved from, larger cities and stuff,
Yeah.
but it's, I don't know who can do it, or maybe I'll do it, like have a formal meetup, not just for business owners, anybody.
No, yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
Yeah,
That-
things like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Perfect. Okay, so that is everything on that report, mayor's report. And then you had an item for the
50-50 draw for the museum, folks.
Yeah.
If anybody's online, we will be having an auction, your chance to win $500. The last one will be in December. I know Murph said you wanted one, right?
I want one.
I want one.
Annette, did you want one? I can't remember.
Is that, yeah, I did order
At
one.
the end of
Is that the
council
one
meeting.
that's on the?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the end of the council.
Okay, I'm gonna send this out to
Okay.
everybody,
I'll hit you at the end of the meeting.
including Annette and Sandra. Sandra, so you have my mayor's report for the minutes.
And the museum is having a fundraiser on October 28th. We're gonna be showing a movie and painting rocks and all kinds of Halloween themed things.
What movie?
Hocus Pocus.
Oh, nice
Of
first
course,
one or
Nikki
two.
Sanderson,
I love
woman
that
that's going to be
movie.
there. Winifred, I'll be her.
I should be Winifred.
You can come as I'll let you come as a Sanderson sister, okay?
I'm just saying.
It's a very
because that's
exclusive
the
group.
origin of my name,
What, Sanderson or Winifred?
Winifred. Guinevere, Winifred, they're all old Jennifers.
Anyway, so bring the kids. and that should be
Perfect.
fun.
Okay, well, that's everything in new unfinished business. I don't see anything else added in. So establish our next meeting.
We've got closed. Oh, sorry, that's before, sir.
We have a start with 24th, wasn't it?
It'll be the 24th, correct, Merv? Media session, perfect, I'll reach out. And just before we go into close, would anyone like a
Yes,
break? Okay,
please.
so Annette, we'll take a 5-minute break and then I'll take us into close. Thank you very much.
Okay, we're back.
Hey, everyone, so. Could you please have a mover to move us in the close, please? Merv, Merv moves that committee proceed in closed session according to the municipal act, Article 1, section 239.2, to deal with the matters as indicated below. Personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees. Okay, and position, plan, procedure, criteria, instruction be applied to any negotiations carry on or to be carried on by or on behalf of municipality or local board. All those in favor? Perfect, thank you very much. We'll move us into closed. Let me know when we're good there, Nick.
I'm gonna do council by Zoom.
We are
Nice.
live.
Perfect. So Merv, you moving us close. Thank you. Committee moves out of closed session to revise and report. The committee met to receive information regarding resistant concerns over fence and property boundary dispute and shared services, though they're going to Wilberforce, as well as the choose candidate for Warden's Community Awards application to approve minutes from July 11th, 2023. Perfect. All those in favor? Thank you
I
very
didn't
much.
look over 5:30 tonight.
Then could I please have an adjournment of the meeting, please? John? Merv, all those in favor? I always get two, just why not?
Just for fun.
Well, it's just, sure.